Good morning, sunshine. So, we're gonna do bike ride. It's gonna be my longest bike ride. It's gonna be 53 minutes. Usually it's half an hour or 40 minutes, but today is the longest. I didn't expect it myself. So I'm gonna call the cadence, call the incline, decline, uh, resistance. If you don't have incline and decline, increase the resistance. Yep. Okay, let's do it. It's almost 7:17 in the morning. Let's do it. Okay, we have to set our watch. Otherwise, it doesn't count. Did you know that? All right. Jeez, it's really 53 minutes.
Welcome back, guys. I'm your trainer, Tommy Ribs. We are here once again in the beautiful French Alps. This is part 3 of our climb.
I forgot to say, it's a climb.
Workout number 9. We're going to start out with an easy warm-up, like always, and then get rolling from there. Let's do it, guys.
-3, resistance 13.
Whew. All right, let's cruise down this hill. Real careful because we got some gravel at the bottom.
Incline 6, resistance 6.
Alright, so right now, I want you to just get into a nice, easy flow. Let's get those legs spinning again. Whatever's more comfortable for you right now. So, if you want to stand up, pump those legs. If you want to sit down in the saddle and get moving. Col de la Madeleine. Part 3, guys. We're racing the thunderstorms. We'll see if we can make it up to the top and not
Incline
get dead.
4,
So
resistance 7.
The
Target RPM
important
70.
factors of these really high alpine environments
Incline
is
6,
learning
resistance
how
6.
to read these storms that build up against these peaks. So you get these giant thunderstorms that stack up, and you can get really dangerous conditions really quick. So lightning will start to strike. You can tell how far away the lightning is based off of how close the sound is to the flash that you see. So sound, and then sound from the thunder, and then flash from the lightning, that time interval is important. So based off of the speed of sound that you hear with the thunder, every 7 seconds
Incline
or so
4, resistance
is a
7.
mile. So if you see flash, and then it's several seconds before you hear that boom, that means that the electricity is still quite a ways away. But if you hear flash and see boom at the same time, that's a really bad sign, especially if you're above tree line. And I know that kind of sounds silly, and obvious that you want to stay out of that situation, but a lot of times if you're training and spending a lot of time up in these high elevations, it's just something that you learn to manage. Lightning is 55,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's literally hotter than the surface of the sun. And your body Remember, we've talked about electrolytes quite a bit. Potassium, magnesium, sodium, chloride, those tiny little particles that our body uses to have these electrical charges between our neurons and then from our neurons into our muscles. Those components of electrolytes are the same things mixed with the fluids in our body that make a perfect environment for conduction of electricity. So being on the top of a mountain in a thunderstorm is not an ideal situation when our bodies are literally based off of the same properties of electrical conduction as we find out in these different levels of atmosphere that we find in the storm. So
Incline 6, resistance
don't get
6.
dead. We're going to try to not get dead. But we still want to make it up to the top of this peak. So it's a matter of managing these things. Fingers crossed. It's not a perfect science. Whew, nice and easy, guys. Don't really need to worry about cadence for these first few minutes. Let's just get things flowing. Get that blood pumping.
Incline 5, resistance 7.
This is Col de la Madeleine. This was stage 12 of the Tour de France this year, 2018. The winner, Julien Alaphilippe, at least the winner to the top of this summit, wearing the polka dot jersey, same jersey as we got on today, was the Frenchman, 26 years old. Took that peak, made it through the checkpoint first, continued as king of the mountain in that polka dot jersey on this exact same climb. 2 days after France won the World Cup.
Incline
Also
7,
2 days
resistance
after
5. We're still on the
claimed
warm-up.
that title as king of the mountain, at least momentarily, for himself, for his country, in that iconic climb of Col de la Colombier, when he took over in points as the best climber in the Tour. Literally tracing those exact same footsteps, same uniform. That's kind of fun. So Julien Alaphilippe, he's an icon in France now, literally overnight. You go from being a no-name blue-collar cyclist. He's not no-name. I mean, he was pretty solid before that. A cyclocross racer. Competed in the Tour when he was 24, so 2 years ago. But you win a stage in one of the Grand Tours like this, and you go from being a blue-collar, workhorse, domestique, to being somebody that is a household name, especially in a place like France. So people just love him.
Incline 9,
Part of the reason they love him
resistance 4.
is because beyond just being a great cyclist, he's got a lot of personality going on. So he's actually a musician. He sings really well. His coach and the people that work with him, they talk about how he's just got constant energy. So the guy can't sit still. He'll be walking on his hands, just doing all sorts of crazy stuff. I mean, compared to some of these veterans that are in the Tour, he really is just kind of a kid still at 26 years old. So got a lot of promise. Be fun to see what he does over the next few years. All right, guys, let's go just a little more, and then we're going to do these 2 times 10-second up, out of the saddle, fast pushes, just to expedite this warm-up, okay? You guys remember that? High intensity, just up real quick, just short little sprints. We're just going to get blood pumping a little bit better. Let's do the first one. Bring that resistance up in 3, 2, 1, and go.
10 seconds.
Really push.
Incline
Up
7,
out of the
resistance
saddle.
8.
Get moving. Pumping through both legs. 3 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Whoo. drop that resistance back way down.
Are you awake?
And just spin again.
Incline 7, resistance 6.
So we got Mont Blanc. That's going to start appearing off in the distance. We'll get closer and closer to be able to see these incredible views. So obviously we're not climbing up to the top of Mont Blanc. Mont Blanc is almost 16,000 feet tall. But just as the name implies, Col de la Madeleine, remember col means pass. So we're going up through this U-shaped valley, finding the path that goes up from one side over to the next. Let's do one more of these, okay guys?
One more.
Bring your resistance up. 3,
10 seconds.
2, 1, up out of the saddle and go.
Incline 7, resistance 8.
Allez, allez,
All
allez.
you got.
Three, 2, 1, and relax. Drop back down.
Resistance 6, incline 7.
Full recovery. If you overdid that a little bit, just take some time, catch your breath. Again, the goal of those little bursts is just to get things going. We're priming our systems so that we can start putting in some solid work over this third final climb. Whew. So we got these little signposts that you'll see throughout as these trails, climb up and down the mountain for people to hike and run and things like that. And it's always entertaining when I see them in Europe. They have predicted time. Rather than distance, it says how far, or instead of how far, it says how long it should take to get from point to point. I'm always entertained by that. I don't
Incline
know whether I should see it
9,
as a
resistance
challenge,
5.
sometimes I try to beat that time, or if I see it as a benchmark for typical fitness of a European. It's just something that's hard for me to wrap my
Incline
head
10,
around.
resistance 5.
There's so much variance in terms of fitness. So it's like, okay, am I being compared against other, just the French baseline, which in my experience, these Europeans, especially the ones that live and train up here in the Alps, it's insane. These guys and gals are so fit. You see people who are well in their elderly years walking up these mountains, and it's like, man, it's something that is pretty uncommon to see, at least in the places that I've lived. It's inspiring. It makes me want to, if I can be 80, 90 years old still pushing up these high alpine peaks, I feel like that will mean I lived a good life. So guys, right now, I'm just slowly bringing this intensity up from that recovery, light intensity that we start all these warm-ups in. And then over the next 30 seconds, I'm going to go right up to our moderate intensity. Just slowly build into that. The goal is to be at around 6 out of 10 for rate of perceived exertion. I want to be just hugging that line of 85% of my max heart rate.
Incline
And then
8,
that's to
resistance
sustain
8.
a steady state that I want to keep until we get up close to the top, before we're going to do, just like the other 2 climbs in this week, a 2-minute high intensity interval and then an easy cool down. So looking for 6 out of 10. Cadence check, we want to be now working up to right around 70.
Incline 5, resistance 10.
We want to be right around 70 RPMs, a cadence of 70, 6 out of 10 on a rate of perceived exertion. Whew. Keep moving, guys. Nice fluid pedal strokes. Making sure we push through that entire revolution. Boom. Okay, so keep your eyes open as we come up.
We
We've got
have
this amazing
just under 40
little
minutes left.
waterfall that works its way down. See if you can spot that off in the distance. We'll come up around these corners. It'll look just like a little white snake working its way down. Go ahead and push.
Incline 5, resistance 10.
I'm going to hop on your wheel. So you'll notice this may be something that you see if you've watched cycling races before. Obviously we've talked about this. We'll continue to talk about it. Anytime you can, if it's legal, if you're not, in a triathlon where drafting is not legal, you hop in behind the cyclist in front of you and you get into their draft or their slipstream. So it's closer than you may want to ride. That's why you really got to hone your skills if you're going to ride in a group or if you're racing. Sometimes you're literally just a couple of centimeters, your wheel from their wheel, and you're stacked up in a way to where the person in front of you is breaking that wind barrier for you. So it's the same thing that you see with geese. It's the same thing that you see with fish. They've all figured out a way to draft behind each other to have the person in front cut the resistance. Part of that work that we're doing. So energy directed towards an object with the intention of displacement. When our body is that object, and when the displacement involves fighting against wind resistance, literally particles that make up the atmosphere, our body's trying to cut through that. After we reach 20 miles an hour, 80% of our energy is going towards just fighting that wind resistance. So that's why bikes and helmets and uniforms, all of that is designed for wind resistance. That's why you see these guys snaking around in this serpentine figure, one after another. They're trying to avoid all of that effort.
Incline 3, resistance 12.
They're trying to avoid all of that effort
Flat 14.
that's required from breaking that wind resistance. So this position is less efficient than this position, and this position is less efficient than this position, and this position is less efficient than this position. So you'll see all of these when these guys are racing. Standing upright, in the drops, in an arrow position, tucked, and then in what they call a super tuck position. So all of that is trying to break away and get through the resistance of wind in the most efficient way possible. Obviously, the safest way is the most, the most stable way is the least aerodynamic way. And the reason is because our bodies, the resistance, are serving to help with stability. And when we're dropped down way low, riding
Incline
that
5,
handlebar like
resistance 10.
that's the most aerodynamic position, but it's also the least stable position, the most sketchy position. So if you're, on a stable platform as we're doing these things, go ahead and try these different positions out, minus that super tuck, because you can't pedal in that super tuck. All right, guys, cadence check. Make sure we're right around 70. Effort check. Make sure we're
Incline
right
1,
around 6 out of
resistance
10.
13.
Again, when we've got something like a rate of perceived exertion where it's somewhat subjective, it's up to your own, ability to determine. It's good as you're doing that to use that heart rate. So right around 85% of your max heart rate.
Incline 3,
Make sure you
resistance 12.
calculate that. So from time to time calculate. Make sure you're at 220 minus your age multiplied by 0.85. That's an important ceiling. We don't want to go over that, but we want to hug as close to it as we can. And again, the reason we do this is because following these heart rates, these efforts, it's been proven over and over and over from the very best cyclists and endurance athletes in the world that following this type of protocol, staying within these effort zones, is the best way to improve, the fastest way to improve, because it allows our bodies to work up progressively in a way that doesn't overload them. So you really, really, really got to just trust this process and just stick to it. There aren't shortcuts, guys. Cadence check, right around 70. Effort check, right around 6 out of 10. And heart rate, right around 85% of that max. We're going to keep rolling.
Flat
Let's
14.
hit a little bit of a flat area. So
Target RPM 85 to 90 when it's flat.
increase resistance when that happens. And then we increase the cadence a little bit as well. Make sure you do a quick head, shoulders, knees and toes. Check to make sure that everything's relaxed. You've got your eyes up. You've got your spine stable. Your traps are dropped and relaxed so you don't have your shoulders brought up. Just relax those traps. Make sure that your spine is neutral, so not overly flexed, not overly extended, just in a neutral position. Make sure that pedal stroke is nice and fluid. Let's keep going, guys. I'm gonna hop up just a bit to rest my seat. And we'll keep moving. We got a little bit
Minus
of decline.
114.
I'm going to drop down into a little bit more of an arrow position. You can do the same if you feel comfortable. So resting right under distal to my elbows. And make sure you keep that spine as neutral as possible when you're in this position. If you feel too much of a stretch,
Minus
on your low back,
114.
make sure that you adjust. Keep that cadence
Flat
nice and
13.
high on this flat. We should be right around 90.
Target RPM 90.
Obviously, if you're outside doing this, make sure you take time. Do this in a safe, controlled place where you feel like your bike handling skills are such that you can take your hands off of the brakes.
Incline 2, resistance
And let's
13.
keep going, guys. Nice and strong.
Incline 4, resistance 12. Target RPM 70.
All right. Make sure we stay within those thresholds. Starting to climb again. Our cadence is going to drop back down right around 70. Our exertion,
Incline 2,
Right around.
resistance 13.
6 out of 10. Keep it up, guys. Keep moving.
Incline 1, resistance 13.
Let's keep pushing, guys. climb higher, you'll start to be able to see these peaks. You'll also start to be able to see different ski lifts and gondolas, however you like to pronounce that.
Flat 14.
Alright, we got a little bit of a dip.
-1, 14.
Our resistance up a little bit. Make sure I keep my effort the
Target
same,
RPM 90.
and then get back down in that arrow position.
Incline 2, resistance 13.
Well, that's cool. An old school Porsche.
Incline
Really
5,
like a Porsche
resistance
race car
12.
from the 50s.
RPM 70.
Alright. Let's keep moving, guys.
Incline 7, resistance 10.
It's hard to not flinch when you hear those guys coming up on you. Alright, let's keep moving. I'm going to let you come up and take the lead. Let's make sure we keep
We have only 28 minutes to go.
so right around 70. 6, out of 10 on the rate of proceeding motion.
Ah.
Nice and strong. Keep pushing up this hill. This mountain. Probably insulting in terms of mountains when climbing up a mountain is 16,000 feet high. And you call it a hill. Guys,
Incline 9,
about
resistance 9.
Mont Blanc, in terms of absolute prominence, which is a term that they use in geology to describe not the height or altitude of a mountain, but the change in elevation from the mountain and the surrounding foothills. Mont Blanc comes in at number 11 in the entire world. So that means absolute steepness and change in elevation from the peak of the mountain to the surrounding mountains. That variable that they use to determine is known as prominence. So the mountains with the most prominence in the world,
Incline 9,
So-
resistance 9.
in terms of, I guess, a relative sense, the way you want to think about it, the tallest mountains in the world, in terms of prominence, are actually from Hawaii, so it's those volcanoes.
I just need to change position for a
And-
little bit.
You know, that seems somewhat counterintuitive,
Your butt will
because you're like,
appreciate.
okay, we got some of those mountains on the islands of Hawaii, that island chain, and they max out at around 14,000 feet high. So it's like, okay, how is that possible? But if you were to look at it, if you get rid of the ocean and just look purely at the mountain, and if you consider the fact that the base of that mountain, that volcano, is at the seafloor, which is several thousand feet deep, those mountains, those volcanoes on the chain of Hawaii
Incline
are
6,
actually
resistance 11.
taller than even Mount Everest and those mountains in the Himalayas. And that's all based off of the fact that they come up, boom,
Incline 9,
straight from the
resistance
ocean floor,
9.
rise up out of the ocean, 14,000 feet high. So this guy, based around the peaks of these low-lying valleys within the Alps, comes in at number 11 in terms of prominence. All right, enough about geology. Focus in again. Cadence, right around 70 is what we're going for. And then heart rate, 85% of our max. Keep pushing, guys. Make sure that we've got consistent pressure going through both legs, pushing those down like pistons, driving those wheels on that locomotive.
Incline 7, resistance 10. Target RPM 70. 7-0.
This thunderstorm looks good in terms of thunderstorms. And keep moving up. You know, we may make it up into those clouds. That'll be fun. All right, guys, I'm gonna let you take the lead again.
Incline 7, resistance 10.
My pull is over for the next little bit. Again, that goes back to terminology we talked about when you're in a peloton. Peloton, again, is that group of riders working together. When you're at the front, when you're that front duck, that front goose, that front bird that's breaking the wind for everybody else, you're taking what's called a pull. So everybody else is sucked in on your wheel, and the wheel in front of, you know, the rider directly in front of them, and everybody is using that to be able to break that wind resistance. The efficiency is 30, sometimes 40% more efficient when you're on the wheel of another rider. So what you'll do, you're in the front, you don't ride up to the front. You let the front peel away one rider at a time. The other thing that you got to remember, after you're done taking your pull at the front, you peel off to the side, you give just enough space so those riders can safely pass you. But the point is not for them to have to slow down, the point is not for them to have to speed up. The point is for you to slow down just a little bit so that you can suck in on the wheel of the guy or gal who's in the very back. So you guys work together as a team. So this is the way this looks like. You'll peel off to the left, and you slow down rather than me speeding up. I'm still continuing at the same rate. You peel around behind me, the rider behind me. You go all the way to the back, and then suck on the wheel of the person who's in the back.
Incline 9, resistance 9.
Is it gives everybody an opportunity to share the burden of breaking that wind, and it makes you and the riders that you're riding with, it creates almost like you're this unified biological specimen and everybody's working together in concert. Cadence check, guys. Right around 70. Now, a good pull, a solid pull, when somebody's right in front of you, the idea is not to increase the speed. That's not what you're trying to do. You're trying to maintain the right speed. So if you're riding with a group and you've got some guy or gal, it's their turn to be in front, and they pump up the speed and everybody has to struggle to keep up, that's not how this works. So the idea is not to drop the riders behind you or make it more difficult.
What's the matter?
The idea is to maintain the speed of the rider in front of you and hold that pull
No, we
as
don't.
long as you're comfortable.
We
That's
don't
something
need
you
it.
gotta
Is
gauge.
that good with you?
based
I was
off
thinking
yourself.
about it today, no,
When I've
but
ridden
okay, I will go along if you
real
want it.
competitive groups
Thank you.
before,
Thank,
No, no,
typically if ever I
Thank you.
get dropped by that
it's too
group,
much.
thank you.
it's right after I've done a pull.
Thank you.
Let's
I've been
eat
in the
that
front.
money.
And I overexert myself. I
love
stay in
you.
the front longer
I love you too.
than I should, and there's a confidence thing. It's one of these things that
Do you
don't
need me?
understand the process,
No, just wanted to
and you're
come
trying to
see you
prove
for that.
yourself.
I got
or
up so many
prove
times
yourself to
last
yourself
night.
or those that you're
Maybe
riding
the
with.
cherries, I
You'll
don't
stay
know.
too long in the front.
Say that again.
I got up so many times last night.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, maybe the cherries.
Maybe?
I peed. Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be it.
I mean, you can try. Hopefully, there's a couple other riders that have gotten dropped as well. You can work
Incline 6,
together
resistance
to catch
11.
back up. But when you're on your own out in no man's land, it's pretty rough. Not only are you required
Incline
to
3,
break
resistance
the wind
13.
resistance in front of you, you're all by yourself. You've got another 30 to 40% more difficulty to be able to catch back up to that group. So take an honest pull. Make sure you do your fair share of the work.
Incline 8,
But don't go
resistance
so
9.
far that you're going to get dropped by that train. All right, let's keep going, guys. So as you're watching these races and the races that make up the Grand Tour, other professional races, you'll see cyclists working together, even if they're in different teams, to try to break away from that main peloton. It's,
Incline
pretty
7,
uncommon.
resistance 10.
I mean, it happens, and it's incredible when it happens, but it's pretty uncommon to have a single rider make a break off the front and be able to hold that all the way to the finish, unless it's right at the very end. and they're just
Incline
making a
9,
sprint
resistance 9.
to the line. What you'll see if it's early on, typically you've got one guy that'll try to make a break, and another couple of other riders will try to go with them. And even though they're competing against each other, they understand that if they can work together, they can make a break from the rest of that peloton, and then those guys or gals will be the ones that can make up the podium. So they work together until they get to the very end, and then it becomes this really tactical game where it becomes literally this joust between each other, trying to break away from each other. And you'll see as this happens, the riders will be together, and then one of them will dart to the other side of the road, or they'll try to get out of the line of vision of the other rider. They'll literally be looking at each other. And when the rider behind will, make a mistake of looking over his shoulder or looking to the side, the rider in front will dart to the other side of the road. Literally within a second or a millisecond, they're on the other side of the road. The rider that's trailing behind has lost that slipstream, and then the guy will try to make a break to the front.
Oh man.
Or you got a guy that's tailing, who's actually taking the advantage of being in the slipstream. He'll wait until the rider above looks to the right, and he'll take off to the left. He'll dart across the road and then make an attack. And by the time that rider has just turned and looked, that rider's already gone, and they can't get on that wheel. And that will determine, typically, that'll determine the winner of that stage. You see these guys that are sprinting. The guy in the green jersey typically is not the strongest rider, he's the smartest rider. So he's a tactician. He sits there and waits and waits and waits, and right at the right moment, he'll make a break to make it to the finish line before everybody else.
Incline
This
9,
year-
resistance 9.
The dominant green jersey in the 2018 Tour was Peter Sagan, multi-time world champion. The guy's an absolute genius, just brilliant. Great bike handling skills. You'll see this guy riding front wheelies down these hills, riding wheelies through the crowds, up the wheels. He was at a race not long ago. It came down to the very end. You had a couple of riders. There was a
15 minutes
roundabout
left.
that they had to go around, a really tall roundabout. Instead of going around them, he literally bunny hopped, rode over the top, and dropped down. And just because of that little maneuver, he was able to outkick these guys and win that huge race. All right, guys, cadence check. Make sure we're right around 70. Whew. So these climbs are long.
Incline 4,
That
resistance
fatigue
12.
will continue to build. But we're trying to do, even if we have to slow down our actual speed, we're trying to maintain that consistent cadence and keep that effort level consistent. Things are going to start to get incredibly beautiful up here. As we come around these switchbacks, we'll be able to take in these vistas. Some of them that have actually been behind us this whole time. But as we start to snake around, we'll be able to take those in, be able to see the road below us and how far we've actually traveled. And then we've got these crazy peaks right up here in front of us.
Incline 4,
We've got
resistance 12.
This moraine.
Target
Remember,
RPM
moraine
70.
is an area the glaciers cut
This is
through,
not a rest.
and the way that it's cut through has been
Incline 7, resistance
vertically
10.
instead of horizontally. So we see those lines, those vertical lines, those scars in the granite and in the marble where that ice has cut a path. We'll be able to see up here off to our left, we've got this huge U-shaped valley where we had a glacier come through and cut this pass. You can see that in the lowlands, those moraines are now gone, that the sediment has built up and it's allowed foliage and trees to start to grow. But when these mountains were younger, you'd be able to see those moraines, those scars cut right down through that valley. All right, keep it up, guys. So something that comes up from time to time, kind of a dark area of the sport, but one that people talk about all the time more and more, is the doping. So the use of performance-enhancing substances, illegal, illicit performance-enhancing substances, to have an advantage over their competitors. And this is something within the culture of cycling has been really rampant, and hopefully the World Anti-Doping Association, WADA, has been able to do a better job. Times have definitely slowed down in these Grand Tour races, so hopefully that's an indication that the athletes are cleaner than in previous generations, but it's something that comes up. Now I want to make a distinction between illegal and illicit substances.
Incline 7,
that are
resistance 10.
performance-enhancing. Make a distinction from just simply other things that are performance-enhancing. So performance-enhancing isn't a bad thing. A nap is performance-enhancing. Solid, consistent training is performance-enhancing. Drinking water, making sure we stay topped off on all of our resources is performance enhancing. So the World Anti-Doping Agency has 3 criteria that they use to determine substances which are illegal performance enhancing substances. The first is that it provides an unfair advantage to the athlete. The second is that it puts the athlete
Incline 7,
their
resistance
health
10.
at risk. And the third is that the substance is what they call against the spirit
Incline
of the
3,
sport.
resistance 13.
So there are substances which are legal in some countries, cannabinoids as an example. So the use of cannabinoids or medical marijuana or recreational marijuana is definitely not performance enhancing.
Incline
In
6,
some
resistance
countries,
11.
the majority of countries, it's still illegal, and so cannabinoids are banned in competition because they're against the spirit of the sport, is what they say. So it doesn't necessarily, well, that's completely debatable, but there aren't immediate health risks involved, and it doesn't give the athlete an unfair advantage, but it does go against the spirit of the sport, the culture, the image, the influence that they want these athletes to be for younger generations. And so because of that, it's against the rules. Another example is something like ibuprofen. So ibuprofen is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory. So that's in contrast to something like cortisone,
Incline
which is a
8,
steroidal
resistance 9.
anti-inflammatory. So non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, typically we call those NSAIDs. That's a substance which is legal, but it could be considered to be performance enhancing if the thing that's holding the athlete back is pain and soreness or inflammation. So it's something that changes from time to time. An athlete has a responsibility, especially if you're making a living doing this, of staying up to date on what these substances are, as that's reviewed, to make sure that they're playing within the rules. So this would be like if you were in a soccer match and the referees got together, every several months, and they said, you know what, we're going to have the boundary line be right here. And if you're an athlete and you don't study up to find out where that line is, you dribble the ball out of bounds, they call it on you, you try to contest it, and it's like, listen, dude, it's your responsibility to find out and to stay caught up on
Incline
what these
8,
rules are,
resistance 9.
and continue with these things in a way that's responsible and ethical and legal and safe. So, the types of
Incline 5,
performance
resistance
enhancement that we're
11.
interested in is hard, consistent work, a structured plan, making sure we stay hydrated, making sure that we rest and recover enough, making sure we don't get dead, making sure everything in that equation we talked about, consistency times stress plus rest equals success.
Incline
Making
7,
sure all of
resistance
those
10.
components are there. All of those performance enhancing components are in place so that we can have the results that we need, but we can earn them. We can continue to race and compete as clean athletes,
Incline
ethical
9,
athletes,
resistance 9.
honest athletes, so that when we do win, we're not stealing, literally stealing out of the pockets of the other competitors that have done it the right way. All right, guys, let's keep moving up. Let's check in on cadence. We're coming up really close to the end here.
Incline 7, resistance 10.
All right, so we're going to put in that 2-minute high-intensity interval that we've talked about.
We're gonna do 2-minute push
We're going to give ourselves about 15 seconds to focus in.
15 seconds.
Gather your thoughts, and we're going to absolutely
All
bring
you
it
got,
over these next
2 minutes.
2 minutes. All out, 100%. That doesn't mean you sprint right out of the box and run out of gas. You've got to spread that out over 2 solid minutes.
Pace yourself.
It's a fine line. We're going to hit it
2
right
minutes
as we come around
at the
this corner.
100%.
We're going to go 2 minutes
Pace
in
yourself.
3, 2, 1, and
Let's
let's
go.
go.
Incline 5, resistance
Come on.
13.
Nice and tall. Okay, guys, I got a little surprise for you. We're going to switch this up on the fly. We're going to go all the way to the end. So instead of doing this for 2 minutes, We're gonna go until we cross that line.
It's gonna be longer 2 minutes.
That
He lied to me.
Alaphilippe cross.
I lied to you.
We're in the same jersey.
Incline 8, resistance 11.
Stage 10 of the Tour de France. All right, let's go, guys. Strong. Whether this is 2 minutes, right under it, right over it, we're gonna push all the way to the line. Nice and tall.
Incline 6,
Push.
resistance 13.
Everything you got. We can see that up on the horizon. Let's go, guys. Finish up this climb. Col de la Madeleine. Featured 25 times in the Tour de France. Let's go. Yeah.
Incline 4,
All right,
resistance
guys, come on.
14.
Nice and tall. Keep going. Drive those legs and pump.
Incline 2, resistance 16.
All the way through. And relax.
Oh,
Woo. Keep spinning. We're just going to
Rest.
cruise down just a little bit.
incline 2,
Cool down.
resistance
Let
13.
those legs spin.
Keep spinning.
Taking these views, guys. Absolutely stunning. Man, great work. 3-part series all the way to the top.
Minus
We're going
1,
to come down here.
resistance
Taking
11.
these views real quick because we're going to flip around and go right into our cool down. Nice and easy. We're just going to spin right back up to the top of that summit. Taking those views and see everything that we just climbed up. All right. Nice and easy. Keep spinning. We'll let this car roll by. Make a quick little flip. And let's work our way back up. Nice and easy. So we're in recovery mode right now.
Okay,
Woo.
cool down.
La Madeleine.
Resistance 3,
25 times, guys.
no,
This has been
Resistance
the climbing
9.
tour.
incline 3.
So the way they rank this, there are 4 different categories, the way that they categorize these. Number 4 being the easiest of the climbs. Cat 1 being
Incline 7,
the
resistance
hardest of the
6.
climbs. Cat 2 and 3 in between there. But then there are certain climbs like this that they categorize as HC. H is an acronym for HORS in French, or that means beyond, and then the C stands for category. So beyond categorization, that means it's beyond Cat 1. These climbs are so difficult that they've literally broken the machine that they use to categorize these things. This climb, Col de la Madeleine, has served almost every time that they've done it. In the 25 times, they've categorized it as HC, so beyond categorization. We're going to go right back the way we came, and then we're going to take a sharp little turn
Flat,
and check in
11.
view.
minus 1, 11.
All right, so nice and easy. We got rain coming down, so we want to make sure we don't fall. Take a sharp little right. Woo. Guys, this is absolutely stunning. Make sure you do everything you can to optimize recovery. Replace all of those fluids. Use all of those performance enhancers that you can in terms of refueling those resources. So water, protein, carbohydrates, and rest.
Flat,
Guys,
10.
that was stunning. Amazing. Thank you for joining me all the way to the end. Part 3, Col de la Madeleine. I'm your trainer, Tommy Rivs, and I will see you next time.
All right. And we are done. 53 minutes, 10 miles, 0.73. All right. All right. That was great. Yay. I think I bite myself inside.